Okay, today's book is Victor Moskalenko, an attacking repertoire for white with 1d4. The book is really good because it makes use of some symbols to give you an idea of what you will encounter. There are the 6 symbols: trick, puzzle, weapon, plan, statistics. Keep in mind, Moskalenko is a very expert coach. Is a FIDE senior trainer. He has written many books about the French, Vinaver, Training with Mosca. It's another book that I really love. So it's clearly a great book to have, a great repertoire if one wants to play D4. Here you see the table of contents of this book. Why I like Moskalenko book? Because he practically gives model games in each chapter. I'm a kind of person that doesn't really like to study theory and memorize stuff, but I like to watch games. So what I would like to do for this review is to cut it maybe in multiple parts and try to give a game for each of the lines that Moskalenko cover from this book. Why? Because I want that people watching my videos to learn something. Otherwise, we are wasting time, okay? We must not repeat stuff by rote memorization. We must think about chess. We must enjoy the games from the past. Okay, with that said, let me show you some of the games. So, what I also like is that Moskalenko actually plays the games, the opening repertoires that he proposes, okay? For example, in chapter 1, we have game 7, Victor Moskalenko against Frank de la Paz Perdomo. Victor Moskalenko, it was played in 2003 at Barbella della Valles. Moskalenko was 2,520 and Perdomo was 2,442. The game starts obviously with d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, e4, d6, so this is the King's Indian, right? And now Moskalenko, in his repertoire, proposed the 4-pawn attack, which is with f4. Okay, it's clearly a scary sight to see all these pawns in the center. But of course, sometimes they can be overextended, attack, and this is the thing of pawns. They cannot go back. So once you move them, you have done it. You cannot really retract the move like with a piece. With a piece, you can make a mistake and maybe return back, repeat the moves. With pawns, you can't. So you need to actually be very, very careful. Castle, knight f3, c5. As you can see, I told you, it's scary to see all these pawns, but then they can be attacked. And once they are attacked, of course, there is a problem, right? Because you need to decide if you want to change them or push them again. Clearly, a lot of problems. So what would you do in this position? In this position, Moskalenko did play d5. The problem is that when you push a pawn, then the rest are a little backward and they can be weaker. Okay? So what does that mean? That you attack them. And this is what Black did. b5. Here we have an interesting Warcraft battle. C takes b5, the principal option, a6. So this is becoming a kind of Banker's Gambit, right? Here there is a diagram, and in fact it says puzzle. The position is similar to the Banco Volca Gambit, but it is not exactly the same. So what do you do in this position? This is why I like Moskalenko book, right? Because now he's asking you a question, which means you stop, you pause this video, and you think, oh, I'm white, what would I play? Because this will actually help you to learn this repertoire, to think, because if you just move the pieces without stopping, you will not learn, okay? So I hope you tried to pause the video. Moskalenko played a4. And here it says, the first key moment arises. Now it's not easy for black to find a good continuation. Accepting the gambit with 9b takes a6 normally results in a standard Bank of Olga gambit. Again, so if you do this, you are in a Bank of Olga gambit, okay? And he also gives a line which is recommended by theory. I will not give it because I'm not trying to teach you the opening like Moskalenko does, okay? For that, obviously, you need to buy the book. I'm just trying to pause the game in some critical moments, make you think, and that will make you, over the long run, a better player. Queen f5. With this maneuver, black combines the threat of 10 knight takes e4 and a takes b5. However, the solution to this problem is simple for white. Okay. It seems that there was also another possibility, which is e6. E6, okay. And this is a kind of Benoni line, and there is a struggle. And here he gives a third of a page of analysis with an analysis diagram. Okay, I'm telling you this because obviously I'm also reviewing the book while I'm showing you the game. In reality, it's more than 1/4 of a page. It's nearly all the next page, page 37. Okay, so it's clearly interesting the fact that he did his homework for you guys. Okay, after 9, Queen a5, what do you think white played? As you can see, I continue to ask you questions as white because you will play this repertoire as white, right? Moskalenko continue with bishop d2. Then, of course, there is an interesting thing, an interesting line that he gives from a game from 2014, because in this game, black played queen b4, but what would happen if he plays knight b d7? So this is another interesting thing, okay, to know, but it's inside the book. Notice also that when you see a game, you can start to notice where the pieces land, on which square, because that will teach you a lot. Generally, if it's a grandmaster playing, he should have, especially someone like Moskalenko that has played chess all his life, he has a repertoire, and you say, hey, but he's not a 2700 player. Well, he's not a 2700 player, but for sure, his opening repertoire has been used over and over in all type of tournaments. So that is very important for me because it means his pieces land on the right square. In this case, queen c2. Okay. The best square for the queen here, it defends everything. Okay, so as I just told you, I didn't even read this game, I never saw this game, but I already know some of the things that are important in order, one, to select a good coach, two, to select a good opening repertoire. Okay. And I know that Moskalenko probably doesn't do it for money, also if he's a professional, but he does it, he shares his chess wisdom because he loves the game. That's the point. Bishop g4. Another active move, the alternatives hardly change the evaluation of his line. And here, of course, he gives some of the alternatives that black had, which were a takes b5 and c4. Okay? So he also gives you some other moves to think about. Now, if you were white, what would you play? Again, this is a very important moment. Okay, it's a very important moment. There were two strong moves. Moskalenko played e5, and then probably after checking with an engine, he discovered that knight g5 was very good as a move. And so nothing, just telling you guys because again, there are analysis in all these games. But I like to show again because I'm learning too when I watch it, okay? e5. So generally, when you have to push a pawn, you think very well about it. D takes e5, knight takes e5, bishop f5, attacking the queen. Bishop d3, bishop takes d3, queen takes d3, and queen d4. And here there is a diagram, okay? Which means when an expert chess player like Moskalenko put a diagram in his book, he doesn't put a diagram just because he's tired, hey, let's put a diagram here. It's because he's telling you something. He's practically giving you a message. In this case, it tells you that here it's a critical position, a critical middle game position, and you need to stop, pause the video, or pause the book in this case, or cover the book with a kind of flashcard so you don't see the continuation, and think, what would you play as well? Okay? So try to think in this position. If you don't care, just move on, but remember, this is the exercise you should do if you really care about your chess improvement. Because a lot of people speak about chess improvement, but they don't understand that it's not something you talk about, it's something you actually do. And here, the right move for white was king e2. Never forget that the king is also a useful piece. Objectively, white now obtains an ending with a clear advantage. So imagine this. We are at move 16. Move 16. And this grandmaster tell me, oh, I already have an endgame that I know how to win. Oh my god, he already knows. So imagine how projecting he is. He's projecting because he knows that his technique will be enough to make him win the game from this point. And so clearly, I guess we need to study our endgames. Otherwise, we will not be able, right, to actually win games. Okay, rook d8, and now bishop e3. Of course, there were other alternatives that I think maybe Moskalenko found with an engine like b6 or rook h c1, rook h c1. Okay, so very interesting also this, but he played bishop e3. Queen b4. The games become a little more complicated. Rook h d1. Knight h5. In case he would have played this, this is the move that Moskalenko would have played. Okay? So, generally, if you try to watch read the book also without a chessboard, it can be a good visualization exercise. G3, and sorry, before G3, let's return back to he played knight h5, then he played G3, and then bishop takes e5. Okay, f takes e5, and now queen g4. King f2, and here Moskalenko says white has stabilized his position and will soon be winning, thanks to his advantage in material and his more efficient pieces. Knight d7, queen e4, and this is a good move. Queen takes e4, and knight takes e4. Here, Moskalenko, after this move, put the informant symbol that says that white has a decisive advantage. And here it says, after correct play in the opening and in the complex middle game, it is only normal that white reaches a favorable ending. So, again, we are at move 23. For Moskalenko, this position is won for white. So it's just a question of technique. You need to have technique enough to win. My advice is, when you have this book, you put this position on your computer and you play it against the engine and you see if you can win. Or if you have a study partner, you can play it against your study partner, that will be black, you will be white, and you see if you can win it or not. If you can't win it, well, clearly you have to improve your technique. Knight takes c5, bishop takes c5, he takes b5, and bishop takes e7. Rook d c8, a takes b5, rook c2, king e3, rook b8, and d6. Obviously, if you have a pass pawn, I think it was Nimzovich who said the pass pawn needs to be pushed. Okay. And here Moskalenko gives a comment: the extra pass pawns decide the game. f5, d7. Wow. Knight takes d7. Rook takes d7. F takes e4. And once more, here there is a diagram, which means that Moskalenko would like you to pause, think for yourself, and try to find out what would you play as white. Okay? This, I think, is a really good exercise. Please try to do it. Try to pause the video and do this, because it will help you on the long run. Moskalenko played g4. In the 4-pawn attack, the white pawns are the main protagonists. Knight g7, bishop f6, knight e6, rook e7, knight c7, and boom! Rook takes c7. Can you see why? So, again, pause the video and see why black resigned in this position. Moskalenko, however, gives the line, so that's quite fair from his side, okay? He said that after rook takes c7, he follows with bishop e5, rook c b7, bishop takes b8, rook takes b8, rook e5, and here white wins easily for Moskalenko. For me, I don't know if I would be able to win easily against Stockfish 16, for example. But again, when you will have the book, just put this position on your computer and play it against the computer, because this is the great thing that you have here today, that you have a sparring partner 24 hours a day. So this concludes the fourth part of this review. Notice that there is also a summary at the end of each game, so it also gives you the teachings that you had from that game. And I would like to show you another game from another chapter in the next video.